Welcome, everyone. I'm Michelle Schumann. I'm the Artistic Director of the Austin Chamber Music Center, and I'm here with Jens Elvekjar, yes?
That's right.
He's a pianist with Trio con Brio from Copenhagen, and they're going to be in Austin for the festival, performing on July 17th in Bates Auditorium. So thank you so much for being here, Jens. You will be the first group that we've ever had from Copenhagen, from Denmark, which is really exciting for us. I'm wondering, is this your first time? Will it be your first time in Texas?
No, we have performed in Austin actually also.
Oh, you have? When did you perform in Austin?
I think it's 5 years,
Okay.
5 years ago, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And then also in Houston,
Yes.
sometimes, and one or two times, and also a couple of other smaller places.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. So you've done a Texas tour before.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
What time of the year were you in Texas? Can you remember?
That it was, I think, not after May. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe in winter or autumn.
Yeah. So you're going to be coming to Austin in a very, very hot time.
Yes, I can imagine.
Although we've had a very mild summer, actually. It hasn't been nearly as hot as it usually is. What is the weather like in Copenhagen right now?
Today it's a little above 20 degrees Celsius, so maybe 23 or something like that.
Yeah, so that's in the 70, maybe 80 degrees here. About 70 or 80 degrees.
Yeah, little less than 80.
Yeah. So very comfortable, I bet.
That's very comfortable, yes.
Yeah. It's a little less comfortable here in the middle of July, but the halls are always very air conditioned, so the halls are plenty cool and
good to know.
Yeah. So I know that you perform a lot in Denmark, but you also tour around the world. Can you tell me a little bit about the trio's touring schedule?
This summer we are going to be really busy. We have a small concert tomorrow here in Copenhagen, and then we are going to Evian, which is in France at the Geneva Lake. Right after.
That'll be beautiful. That'll be amazing.
Yes, it's a very nice festival. It's actually Rostropovich old festival.
Right.
And then now it's a French quartet that took it over.
Yes.
So that's going to be very, very nice. And then we come back to Copenhagen, and then we perform in a couple of festivals here. Not so far from Copenhagen. In Copenhagen and a little bit outside. And then we're going to the States for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And then after that we come back to another festival in Denmark that we actually also artistic directors for, which is in a very nice little village at the ocean in Funen. So that's going to be really nice. It's in a museum, and it's really like a picturesque setting at the sea with the fisher boats and all this. So that's very nice.
Yeah. And you're actually, before we go on, can you pull your screen so you're a little bit further up to the top of the screen? That's great.
Like this?
Yeah, that's better. Do you enjoy being the artistic director of your own festival as well?
Yes, that's. It's not a very big festival, so it's and we have some very good people also organizing. So it's kind of
Yeah, great.
But it's very interesting because we can do own programs and invite some friends and then we can make music together. So it's really wonderful.
Oh, how wonderful! That's great. And I know that. When you're coming, you're going to be traveling with your daughter. Now, you're married. You have a family trio. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But I wanted to talk about you have a daughter or
daughter.
Yes, and she's 2 years old. The reason I'm asking too is because we were saying I have a 2-year-old as well. When was her birthday?
April 7th.
Oh, my daughter's April 4th.
Really?
So, yes.
Okay, fantastic.
So we should maybe try to get our girls together when you're here. Yes. You'll be traveling with her. Do you always travel with your daughter?
Not always, but mostly when it's longer trips, we always take her. But if it's in Copenhagen, or if we go to Germany or somewhere else in Europe where we we just are gone for one night.
Yes.
Then sometimes we have a babysitter that we know and that Hannah knows very well, and then
Yes.
it's easier for her. And then
Sure. Then packing up and doing that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but it must be very busy time when you travel with her, when you tour with her, right?
Yes, it is, but it's actually, I mean, we now it's much easier. When she was very small, it was kind of when she was starting to eat, it was really
Yeah.
it was a quite heavy duty, I have to say, because it's our first child, so we have
Yes.
to learn everything, and then
Yes.
being on tour and then not knowing exactly what to do, it was a little bit challenging sometimes.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, it's great fun, and it's very lucky because we are both parents, and then
Right.
the Sujin is Sukyoung's sister. So I mean, we actually more or less three people taking care, so we can
Yes.
switch and all this. So it's not as hard as it sounds.
Yeah, no kidding. That's great. Well, we'll do it. We'll do a play date when you come
Yes,
for our girls,
good
because
idea.
that would be really. I think that would be really
Yes.
great. So tell me about. So it's basically it's a family trio because they're the two sisters, and then you're married.
Yes.
And so how do you? I suppose you've only ever known that for the trio, but do you think it makes things harder or easier that you are all so close as family, and then still have to rehearse together and make decisions together? How does that dynamic kind of work with the trio?
I mean, of course, for many things, it makes it much easier because I mean, for instance, arranging rehearsals.
Right.
This is very easy. I mean, apart from that, if our daughter doesn't go to nursery school, then we have to arrange a babysitter. But it's very easy, of course, to get together. One could say, and then of course also on the personal, I mean, communicating level, it's also, I mean, easy because Sukong and Sujin, they're sisters, so of course they knew each other quite a long time,
Sure.
and they used to play together since they are small, and
it's amazing.
And also, So all these things, I think it makes that we have. I mean, since the beginning, we've been very open to each other, and of course, sometimes there are discussions, but I mean, it should be also.
Yes,
I mean,
of course,
that we have a lot of discussions about music and so on, but I think there is some kind of closeness which is very very nice also in performing, and of course we have actually deliberately also tried to develop, one could say, both the cello piano and the violin piano, so that we are really completely used to play together in all kinds of constellations, alone, or because the music is like this. Sometimes all three play, and it's like a whole, orchestra, you could say. And sometimes it's, two together, sometimes you're alone, and all this. I think it's very important that one has freedom in all aspects.
Yeah, I mean, it just fascinates me. I've been listening to your recordings, and it's just I love your sound together, and I love the way you all perform together. I've been very excited about having you all to the festival for some time now, and to me, it's fascinating, this idea of the girls being sisters and having been playing together their whole life, and that you're all so very close, because so much of that communication obviously is unspoken in a way, and that's kind of the magic of music, when you can get to that level where you're just responding to one another, but it's at such a deep level. So I think it's going to be very meaningful for people to be able to experience that too. That's great.
We hope so, but I think that's just the longer one plays together.
Yeah.
You can somehow. I mean, that's the interesting thing. Even you play pieces for many, many years, then you get a freedom to do, and also to be very spontaneous on stage, when you know each other so well that you actually can rely on, if you have, if you give an input, or if you have an idea, that then your partners are reacting very fast. And
you have complete
and it's
trust.
like a conversation, that when you, I mean, you can have very good friends and family, and still you can tell the same story like if you play a piece over, but then you do something different every time,
Yeah.
so that it's still interesting or funny or tragic or whatever. That it's not a repetition.
Yeah.
And I think this is somehow the important way also for musicians, to continue challenge yourself as a musician, and also the work, to continue trying to find new things in the work, new impulses or new details,
Yes.
And I think this is, with our closeness in our ensemble, we have somehow, I think, a special way to do that, because we have a very extraordinary trust on each other.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the repertoire that you're playing for our concert is just spectacular. The Ravel Trio, Arensky Trio, and then Per Norgard's Spell, which I'm very excited about too. Talk to me about some of this music. Let's start with the Norgard, and how you came about this work, and let's just talk about that work a little bit.
Yes, the Norgard is Per Norgard. He's one of the most important and interesting Scandinavian composers. He's 80 or 81, I think, this year. And this work was composed in 73. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting, compositionally, because it's not a completely written down score. Mm-hmm. It's a score where you can say also that you have to be very trusting in your partners, because there are some, I think one calls it aleatoric elements, right? Yeah. Where you are free to do certain things a number of times how you feel. Yeah. And there are a lot of transitions or transformations in the piece, where you actually hear different tones increasing in energy and then transforming when they reach the highest intensity. Mm-hmm. They transform into another tone. Mm-hmm. And then you have, so to say, you can see you have 3 levels going on at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then we have to listen to, so when one of us reaches the high point, the other one should be in the middle, mm-hmm. and the third one maybe beginning. Mm-hmm. So you have a pattern emerging, mm-hmm. that's always different, mm-hmm. according to acoustic or your mood or whatever. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting idea that this. It's also improvisatory element in it.
Right. So each time you play it, it's different.
Mm. It's always different. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So and I think it's and then of course some of the parts are written down. So it has these parts that are free, or in a certain way free, and then the more written down exact parts. So I think it's a fantastic piece. It's really, and it's interesting because it's so well. Even it's modern. It's not extremely modern, but it's quite modern in some places. But it's very communicating with the audience, because that if usually we always explain it before performing. Yes. If you know that there are these transformations, you can follow. That now this is, and then that's going like this, and it's very interesting. And then you have a pattern which is like not like a substance which is not something you can grasp, but which is very running out of your hands or whatever, and we also don't know how it ends. Yeah. So it's
very exciting in that way. And you probably, it's great that you talk about the piece to the audience, because so often when audiences have new music, they're uncomfortable before one begins. So it's really important. We were talking about trust. It's really important to build that trust before, and to give them something to kind of hold on to. I really believe in that too. And because what you want is for your audience to be in that place where they're enjoying it, or where they understand the conception of it and what's happening, because it affects how you play as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but with this piece, I think, with all pieces, of course, but sometimes if you don't really explain or pinpoint certain elements, then you can actually feel and that the audience they are searching for something to hold on to. Right. And this is also, if you play a piece, it's not very comfortable, and also, it's understandable, because how we can't expect that everyone in Austin knows pianogo, for
Right.
instance.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
so I mean,
Yeah.
but everyone knows Mozart.
Yeah.
So there you don't have to introduce the
Yeah.
work so much,
Yeah.
but just as a musician, it's just so important because it's like a language. Every
Yes.
composer has a language,
Yeah.
and if we speak a language without introduction,
Yeah.
then it doesn't make so much sense, of course.
Well, and when an audience is uncomfortable because they're searching for meaning, I find that this discomfort mostly comes from the fact that they can find meaning, but they don't know if it's the right meaning, and so they're uncomfortable
Yes.
with that. So giving them the permission that whatever meaning they find, fits into this explanation in a way, I think is very
Yeah.
comforting and allows people to be kind of in the moment of that.
Yeah.
Now, the Ravel Trio, you've probably been playing a long time as a trio, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, we played that actually almost from the beginning
yeah,
of our career, and I think this is one of the most fantastic pieces for piano trio,
yes.
and also it's a very unique composition.
Yeah.
First of all, of course, because it's the only piano trio by Ravel, and also it's the only major piano trio from this impressionistic period.
Right.
And Ravel uses the piano trio, I think, as no one has done before or after him, so that he uses it actually in an extreme way to instrumentate, so that we can make a really orchestral sound in this piece without risking of course, with some what could you say? Of course, you have to be careful, but he writes so well for the trio that one can actually make this. Everyone plays in the best register to make a fortissimo sound, so that it's very. How would you say, the orchestration is so that you get the maximum sound out of each instrument and color.
Yeah.
And also in the very weak parts, the instrumentation is incredibly delicate. And I think, and you have these sounds like harps or like in the orchestral places where the very exotic, almost pentatonic sounds, like Asian sounds, and so it's so rich, and the instrumentation that also actually some inspirations from folk music from Ravel's home region in France, Basque, exactly. Yeah. So it's such a rich work and he puts so many things into it, and still it's and then actually it also has a relation to the First World War, because it was composed right before that.
Right.
So you can hear some fanfares in the last movement, which could be from, like you hear in the trumpets from the war, right? It could be something like this, like you hear sometimes from the distance, and some at the end it comes very, very strongly in the conclusion of the piece. And in this way, I think it's a really incredibly rich composition, both in the instrumentation, also in the tonal language, because you both have this. At that time, they were very inspired also from these Oriental sounds, and then you have a very also Baroque inspiration in the last move and the slow movement. So it's so many things that came together in this piece, and I think it's one of the really major compositions from Ravel, not only in chamber music, but actually at all.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you know that the manuscript to the Ravel Trio is in Austin? Do you know this?
No.
Okay, so we'll go see it when you're here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. So it's at
where is it?
It's at the University of Texas in a place called the Harry Ransom Center. So the Ransom Center has one of the largest collections of French manuscripts outside of Paris. So so we have the Ravel Piano Trio, also the Violin Sonata, and other other works. I think Gaspard de la Nuit they have
Also,
as well. Yeah. So
wow.
we'll make a
I
trip there.
recorded that also.
Oh yeah, great,
So, yeah,
great.
that'd be
So
nice to see.
we'll have a plan to go there. You won't be able to bring your daughter.
No.
I tried to bring her in there once when she was whatever, I think 4 months old, and she was in this little pack-sack, and they said no, she can't go in. But we'll make a plan for that because you have a few days. Your concert's on Friday and you arrive on Wednesday, so maybe Thursday sometime we'll make a trip to the library with everyone to see the manuscripts.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
yes.
I'll arrange for it. That'll be great. So. Well, super. Well, it's been really wonderful talking to you, and I'm so glad that everyone will be able to catch up with you and meet you before you come to Austin, and then we'll just have a wonderful time when you're in Austin.
Thank you. We're looking forward.
Thank you so much. You have a terrific day, and safe travels, and enjoy your touring until you come to the United States, and we can't wait to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to talk to you.
Nice
have
to
a nice
talk
day.
to you. Okay,
Bye-bye.
take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.